Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on which part of the globe you are watching me from. My name is Ediong Singinen Dunobong, and this is Environmental Resort on here in TV. About last week, we had shared something quite interesting, and that was how to keep your environment clean. And I had trimmed it down to where we broadcast from. I was like, how to keep the topic was how to keep a quiet Uyo clean. And I had to ask you from your own end to also customize it to put how to keep Lagos, how to keep Abuja, how to keep Johannesburg, how to keep Los Angeles, wherever you are, clean. And I want to believe that you had learned something. If you did not watch that video, please go to our different channels on YouTube at EIN TV, on Facebook at EIN TV, and then you will see that video and perhaps have a lot to learn from it. And if you're in Nigeria, we're about 9 days away from the general election. First to be the presidential election and the House of Federal House of Representatives and the Senate elections, and we are 9 days away from it. And again, we have been facing a change, a kind of regulation in the fiscal process. We have a new financial policy on ground where there was a design of naira, and the common man, perhaps, like we want to believe, are complaining, and even the politicians too are complaining. And so, how you find it in your own and how you coping? Or let me ask, how does this new financial policy contribute to climate change? I think that's even something we should talk about. I should be bringing in a financial expert to share his thought on how this new financial policy is contributing to climate change, and how it affecting the environment, or our attitude or habits towards the environment. And it could be quite interesting. So I will be looking forward to that. I think I should take note of that, how the new Nigerian financial policy is affecting or contributing to climate change, or the reduction of same. It could be on the pros or cons side of the narrative. So ladies and gentlemen, be on the lookout for that. So yeah, last week on this program, I had talked about how to keep your location clean. And I shared diverse thought. And I remember one of the things I shared, which I happened to notice just a couple of days after that, Operation Own Your Campaign. I do not even know how the person got the idea, but that's to tell you that whatever idea you have in your mind, if you do not share it, if you do not act on it, someone somewhere will, begin to implement that thought. Just sometime, is it day before yesterday, I was around Nepal line, and I saw some guys in front of their shop, not on a weekend, but on a work day. They were cleaning their gutters, making sure they are clean. I was like, yeah, it is happening in New York, and this is something I had shared on my channel some days ago. So that should goes to show that already the impact is already taking. The people, if you've come across this video, please share it so that all that video you can go back to this, go to the channel AIN TV on YouTube and AIN TV on Facebook, and you would find this the video, and perhaps get to share so that people would want to act on it. That particular idea is germane to me. And I just want us to see that we have a clean environment where we do not wait for the government to come and clean the gutters in front of our houses, in front of our shops. Just remember, the Bible says that cleanliness is next to godliness. I beg your pardon, I did come here to preach this. So, ladies and gentlemen, today on the show Environmental Resort, we'll be talking about something very important, stemming from our last discussion, how to keep aquarium clean, or how to keep Lagos wherever you are clean. After that episode, some people came to inbox to ask, so if I engage in this, what will be my gain? What will be my benefit? And it got me to make some research, and I got to realize that the waste management industry is actually a very huge industry, a very huge sector that is seriously under exploited or explored in Nigeria, and perhaps across the globe. And I decided to take it upon myself to research, and I realized that even in a carbon where we are broadcasting from such sector is seriously under on it's in fact people do not really go into this apart from the scavengers. So I say okay, I should be doing a series on this. So what you should be looking out for is that will be sharing possibly opportunities that you can as a person or group of persons, come together to set up a business in the waste management sector. And also I will be looking to person who is actually carrying out such exercise in his or her location, and the person will get to share the strategies, the opportunities, the possibilities of doing business in that sector. I have friends across board who are into waste cycling, and they will be willing and ready to share their experience. So today I'll be taking the first part of this series, the West to Wealth series. The Wealth to West series. First, I would like to share with you what West are. West are those things we discard. West are those things we discard. That's the simplest way I can put. But as humans, we generate waste every day and every moment of our lives. And this waste come in classes, and this waste comes in forms, and we'll get to be talking about most of this. And I would like to just give you a background as a country. In Nigeria, it is estimated that about 32 million tons of waste is being generated per annum. 32 million tons of waste. You can do the mathematics yourself by splitting across. And going by the population of Nigeria, you just do that too and know that get to know possibly your waste footprint so that you know how to act on it. And out of these 32 million tons of waste generated per annum, only less than 30%, not even up to 30%, about less than 30% of it is being collected. And if I ask you, where does the remaining 70% or more than 70% goes to? Go to the river bodies, go to the water bodies across the country, go to the landfills, go to the government disinfectant dump site. You would find the answer to this particular question. It's a poser and something you should find out. I believe when you find it, to inspire you to do better and to even act on this particular knowledge I'm about to share, or idea I'm about to share with you. Imagine a whooping 70% and even more of waste not being collected, and all of this move into the environment. Now, if you're in a Kwaibumu, and somewhere there used to be a side around Onisha, and if you go through your village road, if you're not strong, you wouldn't want to dare that path again because of the poignant smell, the odor that will be coming out from that environment. And then you imagine how the people living there cope. I had raised advocacy on this, and there's an organization I partner with, led by young people. We call ourselves Zero Waste Ambassadors. We've been leading advocacy in this towards how the government could see how to fix that place. And there's been media talks from the government and see that they evacuate that place and see that the people living there have a good source of oxygen to breathe. But we are still looking forward to them implementing a policy. I even saw a recent announcement that they're looking for waste management agency, waste supply class to come into the state to see how to. They're expecting proposals, so we're looking forward to it to see how that will happen. And then in Indonesia, yeah, there was a place along Onisha road that used to be very, and whenever I travel on that road, once I get to that place, I have to be very conscious and look for how to cover my nostrils. And it could be quite dangerous and hazardous to the health. And we keep living with this. So you see, we must, as a people, do our best to say that this 70 over 70% of waste that is not collected, they are collected. So I have shared you what waste are, and then I've been able to let the background on what we should the number of waste the quantity of waste we generate as a people, as a nation annually, and how less and how little is being collected. So I would like to go with you to share the classes of waste we have, because you will not just want to venture into a business that you do not know. So I had said that waste are being classified. And so I would like to share the different types of waste we have. First, I would like to mention the e-waste. People do not really classify this kind of waste, but it is e-waste is actually something very disturbing and very tight. E-waste like a time bomb waiting to happen. We are involved. We love going for what is involved. We go for the latest gadget, and we go for the latest computer set, the latest phone. And when this phone gets bad or is out of use, how do we how do we dispose of them? How do we let them out of our hands? How do we let them out of our space? Okay, you want to ask, what are e-waste? E-waste are those gadgets I just mentioned, your phone, your laptop, your devices, what do you call it? iPad, iPhone, and all of those things you use. Notepad, just mention them. And your telephone, whether it's the touchlight one and all of those, and then even your electronics, all of them fall into your e-waste. How do you dispose them of? I remember when at some point you keep your phone and then you do not remove the battery, what you come back to see, that's the same thing. Imagine if that is being thrown away and they find their way into the landfills, or perhaps just get somehow buried in the soil. You can imagine the danger that will pose to the environment, even to human health. So we have the e-waste generated from such material that I had mentioned. And then we have the solid waste. Yeah, you could also classify the solid waste into this class of waste. We have in this class of waste, we have the metals, the wood. We have scraps and stuff. Paper also fall into this class of waste, and then we have the liquid waste. Liquid waste comes from. I don't know if I should put um, um, waste. Okay, wastewater is into this. Wastewater, we have wash water, and apart from the chemicals, any other form of waste that you would want to think of. And most of this kind of waste comes from our homes, the factories, companies where we live, and then just something that is happening in around us. The recent stuff that has been booming business, the food business guys, that are running restaurant. You get to find out the gutters around them are smelly because they don't know how to channel their liquid waste properly. So they just dispose them off into the gutters, and the road gets smelly. So you see, it's something that should bother you. So we have the liquid waste, and then uh, we have the organic waste. Organic waste are being generated from plants, from agricultural activities and stuff. So you find organic waste around the farm, around the things we do with things that are biodegradable. And then we can talk about the hazardous waste. Where we have the chemical waste from, and then yes, part of the hazardous waste should be, like I had mentioned, the e-waste. Because of the battery, the lithium and stuff. So we have the hazardous waste, and there are a whole lot of them I would like to share with you. We have then you can also classify them to the recyclable waste, and then there are a whole lot of waste and type of them. But the one I would like to share, which I remember the government and some agencies, took it upon themselves to lead campaigns on them during the COVID-19 era. We're in the post-COVID-19 era now, and that is the medical waste. And the medical waste is being found around the hospitals, and in this medical, we have the syringe, the drug cans, container bottles, needles, name them, gloves, even blood, and all of those are found into this medical chemical waste. And this particular waste you have to be very, very conscious about, because some people out of ignorance may want to just go, is it not just waste from the hospital, and you go and pack them carelessly without minding the effect that will have on you, forgetting that in the hospital we have people with diverse medical conditions, and there are some that are quite contagious that if you get to touch them with bare hands, or you come in contact with them, you could contact some very deadly disease for yourself. So I would suggest that you apply with caution the moment you want to evacuate a medical or chemical waste. And management. Some people may want to think or suggest, hey, what is it about waste again that is keeps talking about and all of those? Yeah, there are a whole lot to about waste that you should know, and I want to talk about the dangers before even go into the business, and perhaps the things you will need to put in place before, if time will permit, because we're supposed to be running this for a maximum of 15 minutes, but I think we've eaten deep into our time. So like I said, it's going to be a series. So I had talked about different types of waste. So what I'll be sharing with you now is the dangers of waste going into this business, so that it will not be as if I told you first the beautiful part of it, but let me just share the part that you should be careful with too. I had, while sharing the talking about the different classes of waste, I had mentioned medical waste and the dangers it poses. Now, one of such dangers I had talked about is contacting diseases, possibly for the people going for medical waste management. And now I had mentioned the people, the Uyo village was near in Kwabum, Uyo precisely. And then just if you go there, you will find scavengers. And these people, most of them go there without any medical face mask or nose mask, how you want to put it. And they don't even go there with sanitizers or something to keep germs of their body, of their system. They go there, so they expose their respiratory tract to series of infectious disease. And what you find out, they take into smoking, thinking that will take away the smell from such sites. But in the long run, you find out that they're even doing more danger to their system by adding smoke to whatever it is they are taking in from that place. Again, and then the other danger is, the first, it has to do with your health. The other danger has to be with the security threat around the dump site. For instance, people are going into dump site. If you go to that place, it's been habited by inhabited by tout by people who you think or you wouldn't really want to have businesses. So you have to be security conscious. You have to be very smart to see that you have a successful business dealings with them. So and then there are a couple of other things I would love to share with you, but for lack of time and the want of it, I I wouldn't want to to bulk you with most of that. But you can share your comments, and I will get to read them while we still preparing to wrap this up. You can share your comments, your reactions, and then we will get to share them. This is West to Wealth series. Then this is the first start with the series, and we'll bring in more. And do not forget that we're bringing in guests who will be coming to share their experience on how they venture into the waste management business and the things they do around the waste management business. Now, before we wrap up, I would like to ask a question. How do you manage your waste? How do you dispose of your waste? And where do they land? Where do they end up with? Do you know that you're supposed to be having, different packages or containers for your different kind of waste, so that it will help in the sorting process? Even if you are to consult a waste manager for your home, for your office, for your company, yes, you should do this. I just shared that with you for free. So have different packs, different containers for your different class of waste. For instance, your plastic waste, you have a different container. Your paper should have a different container. And then your organic waste too should have a different container. And depending on the different kinds of waste you generate, and the types you could keep before they can come for their evacuation, you should keep them in separate containers. And with this, you would have lessen the job on the waste collectors guys and see that they do their job efficiently in harmony with nature. Now, I would like to share with you something before we go for today, and that is about I would call this the tip of the iceberg. I had shared some, but do you know that as little as setting up a waste collecting company, as young people, say you were a team of three and you divide yourself into areas. Remember, in Nigeria, and even the president of Nigeria had once come up to say that there are no jobs. So imagine three of you coming together to set up a waste collecting company where you go to homes, companies, offices to see that you collect your waste and get paid. And most of these things you do maybe once in a week. You visit an outlet once in a week and collect your waste. And at the end of the month, you get paid. How about creating that job for yourself? Or when I come back next week or on the next episode of this series, I'll be sharing with you the different waste opportunities, business opportunities in waste management. And I just shared with you one. Okay, so we go back to what is happening. We are 9 days away from the election, the general election. And of course, we're beginning with the presidential and the Federal House of Representatives and Senate election on the 25th of February, if the date would not be shifted. As Nigerians, I know we've collected our PVC. Did you get yours? Yes, I know you did. And then imagine how old you were 8 years ago and how old you are now. And remembering that they came to promise you change and a whole lot of change, and they gave you money to vote for them, and you collected. Are you still eating that money till now? When was the last time you spent from that money that you collected during the last general election? And this just to tell you that you shouldn't collect money from any politician to vote. You can collect the money. Remember, they've stolen a whole lot from us. They operate in cryptocurrency and they steal a whole lot from you. Why they keep you poor and come back with peanuts so that you would appreciate and dance around and sing their praise to heavens. Whereas if you get to find out how much of your money that has been stolen, you would be crying for the peanut you'll be giving to vote for them. So if you collect money again this 2023 to vote, how long would you eat the money? How long would you keep the money for your generation unborn? So come on, do not forget most of these politicians, except whatever it is that punishes people, punish them. Most of them will not go broke, even if they are to be sleeping every day of the year, and even their generation too. So what are you doing? Please do not get money from politicians. But if they give you money, collect. It is your money they've stolen over the years. Now let me shock you. About last year, Qatar hosted the World Cup, and in the oil production index, Qatar is number 14, while Nigeria is 15. And in Qatar, there are less than I think about 1% of poor people in Qatar. And Nigeria, we are the poverty headquarters of the world. Can you think on that? Please, come November 20, come February 25th, please go out and vote. I know you know who to vote for. And this is not a political space. We are here, to talk about the environment on this particular segment of the program on here in TV. When we get to be engaging on political issues, we'll be talking about that. And again, how many of these aspirants, particularly the presidential aspirant and then your governorship aspirant, are talking about the climate-related issues, how they're going to solve the problem? I talked about flood the other time on this channel, and how the country or the leadership of this country neglected their part in cushioning the effect of a certain dam. How many of them are including a climate-related policy in their manifesto or somewhat a roadmap to what they would do with relation to climate change in their manifesto? We should look out for this. And I don't just mean a vague inclusion, just to please you. How many of them are sincere about this? And then there's a campaign being led by my network organization, Climate Sustainable Development Network, and their member organization, Vote for Climate. We'll be talking about this in a couple of days from now, and I'll be bringing in guest speakers to, share their thought on Vote for Climate. And this is very critical in this season in Nigeria. And of course, you know how critical this season is for us in Nigeria. and vote for climate comes to to light in this season. And it's very important that we go for those candidates that are doing their bit to say that they contribute their quota to fighting climate change, and not just with lip services, but with genuine intention to see that as a people, as a nation, we do our best to combat climate change, and to see that we mitigate the impact of climate change. And even, okay, even while we're trying to mitigate, we see how we can adapt to it. And because the changes are here, if you go through the ICPC report and some other report, you would see that we are the times are here, and it's very critical. So let's think on this and see that we do a bit to vote the right candidate into, or to vote the right person to lead us as a nation, and see how our development indices will change in the next 4 years. It's been a wonderful time here with you on environmental research. And do not forget the series. The topic of the series is wealth to wealth, and this is waste to wealth rather. And this is the first episode on this series. And I'll bring in inciting and quite engaging topic or topics on this series, to see that you have something to learn and something worthwhile to benefit from this session. And from me, it's been an engaging moment. It's been quite an engaging moment, and I know you would have learned a whole lot. You may want to follow us on Twitter at TV_AINTV, and on Facebook at AINTV, and on YouTube AINTV. Please, I beg of you, when you watch this video, share and invite your friends to like our pages, and perhaps follow us on different channels. Thank you so very much. My name is Edionsin Ndonabo, and this is Environmental Research. Do not forget that health is wealth, and cleanliness is next to godliness. So long.